I knew something was wrong the second I walked in and heard laughter that didn't belong to me. It wasn't just louder than usual. It carried an edge, a kind of reckless abandon that didn't sit right in the quiet rhythm of our living room. Her phone lay abandoned on the couch. Screen glowed with a notification I wasn't meant to see. For a split second, I convinced myself it was nothing. Maybe a silly meme from a friend. But the pit in my stomach refused to lie. Something had shifted. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual as she turned to me, cheeks flushed and eyes sparkling with a thrill I didn't recognize. "You're home early," she said, but her tone was layered with mischief. "Yeah, meeting ended sooner than I thought," I replied, setting my bag down, scanning her expression. It was playful, too playful. "Everything okay?" She tilted her head, smiling in a way that suddenly seemed rehearsed. "Everything's fine. Well, actually, there's something we should talk about." I sank into the couch beside her, the knot in my chest tightening. "What kind of talk?" Her gaze flickered, hesitant but daring. "I've been thinking, maybe we should try something different. Something open." The word hit me like a brick. My mind scrambled, heart pounding, denial warring with the instinct to pull back. "Open?" I asked slowly, my voice barely controlled. "You mean like see other people?" She nodded, leaning closer, eyes intense. "Yes, it could be exciting, liberating. We'd still love each other, but we could explore." I wanted to laugh, to scoff at the absurdity, but my hands shook. "And who exactly would you want to explore with?" The question slipped out before I could stop it, even though a cold dread was forming in the pit of my stomach. Her hesitation was a tremor, subtle yet undeniable. Maybe someone from my past. Someone I used to care about. I froze. Her ex. The idea that she wanted me to give her permission to see him made my blood run cold. My trust, the foundation I built my life on, felt like sand slipping through my fingers. And yet, there was a part of me, sick and numb, that agreed. "Okay," I whispered, barely understanding why I said it. "If it makes you happy, then okay." Her relief was almost palpable, a glow of satisfaction that made my stomach turn. But that night, as I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the decision began to gnaw at me. Something about her eagerness felt too sharp, too secretive. Over the next few weeks, I noticed little things, small inconsistencies, messages disappearing, her phone buzzing in the middle of the night. I tried to reason with myself, rationalize it as paranoia, but the quiet dread only grew. One evening, I stayed late at work to avoid the tension at home. Returning to an empty apartment, I found a note on the kitchen counter, folded neatly in her handwriting. It said simply, "I needed this. Don't worry." I crumpled the note in my hands, my chest tightening. "Don't worry," I muttered. My hands were shaking. The house felt alien, cold. It didn't take long before the truth revealed itself in fragments. Muted conversations I overheard on her calls, sudden unexplained absences, glimpses of familiar faces I didn't recognize. Every clue was a sharp needle, puncturing the fragile trust I clung to. Then came the night that ended everything. I returned early from a client dinner, certain I would confront her. The door was unlocked. I stepped inside, and there they were, her and him, tangled in a moment I would never forget. Her face, flushed with both shame and thrill, met mine for a brief second before panic and guilt flickered across her features. "Why, how could you?" I choked out, my voice breaking under the weight of disbelief. Her eyes filled with tears, but her voice was almost defiant. I needed this. You said it was okay. You agreed." I couldn't breathe. The words cut sharper than any knife. "I agree because I trusted you. I thought we were building a life, not this." Her sobs mingled with regret, but they felt hollow against the crushing betrayal I carried. I didn't fight. I didn't scream. I simply walked out, leaving everything behind. The home, the life, the lies. I disappeared from her world, from the life we'd shared, because some betrayals aren't meant to be repaired. They're meant to be survived. Weeks later, I learned she tried to reach out, apologized, begged for me to come back, but I had already begun to rebuild slowly, piece by piece. Sitting alone in a new apartment, I realized that love isn't always enough. Trust, once broken, leaves an echo that follows you for years. But in that echo, I also found a strange clarity. I was no longer tied to her choices, no longer willing to sacrifice my own heart for someone who treated it as disposable. Some nights, I still feel the sting, still imagine the laughter that started it all. But I remind myself, I survived, and sometimes survival is the fiercest act of love you can offer yourself.